Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are tackling something that is, well, it's at the heart of so much of the fertility journey. It's that ultimate goal.
Right?
Getting that chromosomally normal or euploid embryo, the one that's been confirmed by PGT-A testing.
And that confirmation, it's supposed to be the finish line, isn't it? When couples get that news, they feel this incredible relief.
They think, this is it. We've got the best possible chance.
Exactly.
And that is the setup for our deep dive today. We're exploring that devastating question. What happens when the perfect embryo fails? When it doesn't implant or it leads to an early loss?
Yeah.
We're looking at a hidden factor that can sabotage everything. Sperm DNA fragmentation, or SDF.
It really is the elephant in the IVF room.
Yeah.
The thing is, PGT-A checks let's call it the large architecture, the number of chromosomes.
The big blueprints.
The big blueprints, exactly.
Yeah.
But it completely misses the small stuff, the microscopic but catastrophic stuff. Yeah. Tiny DNA breaks, oxidative damage, epigenetic flaws, all coming from the sperm.
So let's just get right into that. If you've gone through all the effort of PGT-A, why doesn't it catch this? What's the gap?
Well, it's about what it's designed to do. PGT-A is for, macroscopic quality control. It counts the 23 pairs of chromosomes.
Right, aneuploidy.
It's brilliant at catching aneuploidy missing or extra chromosomes.
Yeah.
But what it can't see is the integrity of the DNA strands themselves.
Okay, an analogy might help here.
Think of it like this. PGT-A confirms the house has the right number of floors, but it doesn't check if the foundational timber, the DNA, is rotten.
So the structure looks fine from a distance, but the materials are compromised. The instruction manual from the sperm is full of typos.
Full of typos and missing pages.
Yeah.
And that puts a huge, huge biological burden on the egg.
The egg has to try and clean up the mess.
It has to try and repair all that damaged sperm DNA. And while its ability to do that isn't limitless.
Especially as a woman gets older, right?
Precisely. That repair capacity drops, pretty significantly with maternal age, especially over 35. And it's even lower if there are other issues, like low egg reserve, endometriosis, or any kind of inflammation.
So when the egg can't fix it?
When it can't fix it, you see the consequences. Poor development, embryo arrest, lower implantation rates, and a much higher risk of miscarriage, even with a PGT-A-tested normal embryo.
I think that's a huge aha moment right there. It's not just about the egg's quality, it's also about the egg's ability to cope with problems from the sperm.
It changes the entire narrative.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is the timing of when things go wrong. It's very specific.
Okay, tell us about that.
So the embryo often starts strong for the first couple of days. It's running on the mother's stored energy and genetic material. But then everything shifts.
Around day 3.
Around day 3. That's when the embryo has to flip a switch. It has to activate the father's genes to take over development.
And if that paternal DNA is fragmented,
the switch doesn't flip, or it flips, but the power's out. The embryo it runs out of battery because it can't access the father's instructions.
And what does that impact?
It harms all the things you can't see in a standard test. Placental formation, mitochondrial function, the embryo's whole metabolism. It might look like a blastocyst, but it just doesn't have the internal machinery to implant and thrive.
That sounds like the exact scenario for couples who have beautiful-looking blastocysts that just fail.
It is a major cause.
So let's connect SDF directly to those clinical outcomes. What are we actually talking about in terms of numbers?
The stats are pretty sobering. High SDF can slash implantation rates by up to 30%. It's a central cause of repeated implantation failure, even with euploid embryos.
Wow.
And it's a huge contributor to those really frustrating unexplained chemical pregnancies and early miscarriages.
Okay, so if you're listening to this, what's the checklist? When do you need to start suspecting SDF and asking for a test?
The number one red flag is repeated failure with euploid embryo transfers. That's top of the list. Also, if you're seeing good-looking embryos on day 3 that then just kind of fall apart or become poor quality blastocysts.
The day 3 to day 5 drop-off.
Exactly. And of course, unexplained chemical pregnancies or early losses, all of those should put SDF on your radar.
And what about risk factors on the male side? Things you can see or know about?
Oh, absolutely. SDF is strongly linked to things we can control. A varicocele is a big one. Also, a history of smoking. Any kind of significant heat exposure.
Like what? What counts as significant?
We're talking frequent saunas, hot tubs, even just using a laptop directly on your lap for hours a day. Tight underwear, too. Toxin exposure, chronic stress, all major contributors.
And again, circling back, if the female partner is over 35.
Then the couple just has less biological margin for error. The eggs repair shop isn't as robust, so testing the sperm becomes even more critical.
The good news here is that this is treatable. I mean, sperm quality can be improved, but you have to respect the timeline.
That timeline is non-negotiable. It takes about 60 to 90 days to create new sperm. You can't just, take a pill and see a difference tomorrow.
So any intervention needs 3 to 4 months.
A full 3 to 4 months to generate a new, healthier population of sperm.
Okay, let's get into those strategies, the conventional ones first. And let's go deeper than just eat healthy. Why do these things work?
The whole strategy is basically a full frontal assault on oxidative stress. That's the enemy. So the diet has to be packed with antioxidants.
Berries, nuts.
Dark berries, colorful vegetables, nuts, absolutely. And then supplements are very targeted for 60 to 90 days. Things like CoQ10, which is like a power source for the cells in the testes.
And L-carnitine. I hear that one a lot.
L-carnitine is crucial. It helps transport fuel into the sperm's mitochondria. It's literally the fuel line for the sperm's engine. Then you have your frontline workers, vitamin C, E, and acetylcysteine, which scavenge all the damaging free radicals.
It was a very targeted metabolic tune-up for the sperm. What about those behavioral changes? You mentioned heat.
Heat is the silent killer of sperm integrity. So quit smoking. That's immediate. Limit alcohol. And absolutely avoid all that unnecessary heat.
Right.
Maintaining a healthy weight, moderate exercise, all key. And here's a small detail that has a big impact. The abstinence period before collection.
What's the optimal window?
Just 2 to 3 days. Any longer, and the sperm are older and have more accumulated damage. Shorter is better, fresher is better.
That's a great practical tip. Now, what if lifestyle changes just aren't enough? What are the medical options?
Well, if a varicocele is diagnosed, surgically repairing it can bring fragmentation scores down dramatically. It's often a game changer.
And in the most severe cases?
For very severe damage, the clinic might recommend using testicular sperm, extracted via a procedure called micro-tease.
Why testicular sperm?
Because they're biologically younger. And crucially, they haven't been exposed to all the oxidative stress in the long journey out of the body. They often have much, much less DNA damage.
Okay, now let's shift gears, because this is where the data gets really compelling. We're talking about complementary therapies, acupuncture, and herbal medicine, where the evidence for reducing SDF is incredibly strong.
The clinical trials on this they're really robust. And these therapies aren't just adding general antioxidants. They're targeting the entire physiological environment of the testes.
So let's start with acupuncture. It can sound a bit counterintuitive. How do needles in the body lead to healthier sperm DNA?
It works on a few different levels. First, it reduces oxidative stress systemically and locally. It triggers the body's own anti-inflammatory response.
Okay.
Second, it's been shown to improve blood flow to the testes. Better blood flow means a better environment for sperm to mature in. Third, it helps regulate key hormones like FSH and testosterone.
And all that supports better DNA packaging.
Exactly. It improves what we call chromatin integrity. Think of DNA as a thread. Chromatin is how tightly that thread is wound on the spool. If it's loose, it snaps. Acupuncture helps tighten that spool, protecting the DNA.
And it can lower scrotal temperature, too.
Yes, by improving that microcirculation. It's a powerful combination of effects.
Do we have specific data to back that up?
We do. A 2020 randomized controlled trial, for example, showed that 10 weeks of acupuncture dropped DNA fragmentation from over 32% down to 22%.
And did that translate to better outcomes?
It did. The treatment group saw better embryo quality and higher pregnancy rates. Then a 2022 meta-analysis confirmed it. Across many studies, acupuncture consistently lowers SDF scores by about 8 to 12%.
That's a measurable, consistent effect. So what about herbal medicine? If someone's already taken CoQ10, what more can a custom herbal formula do?
An individualized herbal formula from an experienced practitioner it's a far more powerful and nuanced approach.
How so?
It's tailored to the root cause. Is it inflammation? Is it poor energy production? Is it a hormone imbalance? The formula can provide support on multiple pathways at once, far beyond what a single supplement can do.
I saw one study on herbs that had some pretty dramatic results.
I think I know the one you mean. A 2019 randomized trial. It focused on men with very high fragmentation.
And
after 3 months, their fragmentation scores fell from an average of 38.4%, which is devastating, down to 19.7%. Their normal morphology doubled, and the IVF pregnancy rate in their group went from 18% up to 48%.
48%. That's not a minor tweak. That's a fundamental change in prognosis.
It absolutely is.
And what happens when you combine the two, the acupuncture and the herbs?
You see a clear synergistic effect. They work better together. The drop in fragmentation is often faster and greater. We're talking a 15 to 25% absolute reduction.
And in the clinic, that means?
It means higher fertilization rates, fewer embryos arresting, and most importantly, lower miscarriage rates in the IVF cycle that follows.
So who's the ideal candidate for this combined approach? If you're listening, when do you say this is for me?
It's particularly effective for men with fragmentation scores between, say, 20% and 50%, and it's highly recommended for any couple that's been through repeated IVF failure and wants to optimize everything before trying again or moving to more invasive surgical options.
This has been so illuminating. To wrap this all up, what's the single most important action point for our listeners?
To recognize that a euploid embryo is only half the story. The sperm's DNA is the foundation that embryo has to build on. If the foundation is weak, the house will fall.
So test and treat.
Test and proactively address SDF. It moves you from just hoping for success to actually building it.
And a word of caution if someone does decide to explore these complementary therapies.
Yes, this is crucial. You must use licensed, experienced practitioners who specialize in male reproductive medicine. This is a very specific field.
Right.
And these therapies should always be discussed with your reproductive endocrinologist. They are complementary, not a replacement for medical care.
The ultimate takeaway for you, the listener, is to have the confidence to ask your specialist about SDF testing, especially if you've faced those unexplained failures with perfect-looking embryos. It's often the missing piece of the puzzle.
And here's a final thought. In many places around the world, Australia, China, large parts of Europe, combined acupuncture and individualized herbal medicine aren't seen as alternative anymore.
They're becoming standard practice.
They are becoming standard evidence-based add-ons for high SDF. And the reason is simple. The data shows they lead to more live births. And that's really all the validation you need